Welcome to the Perham Show. I am here at the Perham Area Public Library, and my guest is Susan Heuser-Ladwig, who is the director. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, thank you.
It's been a while since you've been on the show. I'm delighted to have you back on again. And let's just start by visiting a little bit about the changes that you have with your storytime schedule.
Right. In the fall, we make a few changes to our storytime schedule. So I just want to remind people in general, the library in Perham does have a story time every Tuesday morning at 10:15, and all children are welcome to attend. And so we really encourage people, if you are looking for something to keep your kids occupied in the morning, please bring them in and stop in and take advantage of that. But we do have a schedule change in the fall, typically around the holiday. And what we do in the month of December is we have an evening story time instead of the Tuesday morning story time.
Now, those are usually holiday stories. Is this when we get to come in our pajamas?
It is, and we really encourage people to come in their pajamas because we call it kind of a bedtime story time, and it's a time for the kids to kind of wind down and relax and hear a story before bedtime. Yeah. And so that will start actually November 30th because we do those on Mondays. And November 30th is a Monday evening. And so we tell people Monday evening, November 30th, 7 p.m., it'll be a bedtime story time and also a holiday story time. And we will do those through the month of December.
Okay.
And no story time then in the month of December on Tuesday mornings.
Okay, then you just have the one on Monday evenings. And,
right.
And then January, February, March, you also suspend that preschool story time as well, don't you?
We do. For those 3 months in the deep winter, a lot of people don't like to come out, and we have smaller crowds than usual, and so we tend to just take a break during January, February, and March, and then we start up again in April on Tuesday mornings.
So what's going on with your Friends of the Library group? I know they're always busy, active group supporting the library.
They are so active. I don't know what we would do without them, and they're only 2 years old, and we already rely on them so much. They're a great group and very dedicated, and I really want to put a plug in for them. If you are at all interested in helping out at the library, but you aren't quite sure how to get involved, the Friends of the Library is a real low-key way to start getting involved. No one twists your arm or anything like that, and the memberships are very reasonable. I think it's $5 or $10 to join the Friends at the lowest level. So,
okay.
But the Friends do have a couple of activities coming up. They are currently raffling off a quilt that was donated by a group in town. The Perham Quilters Guild donated just an absolutely gorgeous quilt, and that has been out and about in the community.
I wish we had it here so we could show now, but
yeah.
So they could call you for where it is because it's moving around. But what if people wanted to buy raffle tickets?
Well, raffle tickets are sold at the Quilts location.
Okay.
And so now coming up after this coming weekend, actually, the quilt will be on display at the Wild Goose gift shop, so you can stop in there and buy quilt raffle tickets, or you can stop in at the library and we will sell raffle tickets as well.
Perfect.
The raffle will go on until February. The Friends have their great big fundraiser February 13th. So you might want to put that on your calendar too.
That's where they have the dinner, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the quilt will be raffled off at the table fair on February 13th. So you have several months to buy tickets yet.
Well, before we run out of time, and we could just talk forever, I know there's so many things going on here, but what about hot reads and how you get the adults, hot reads for cold nights? I know you've got that coming up. We've only got about 40 seconds left, but
okay. Well, every summer we always have a program for kids, and then in the winter we do a program for adults, and it's called Hot Reads for Cold Nights, and we really encourage everyone who loves to read to stop in and get signed up for that. Basically, you get a card and you get a punch for every book you read, and then you get prizes every 4 books, I think.
Oh, I remember that coffee mug you had a few years ago. It was great. Susan, before we need to take a break, can you give us a phone number?
Sure. To reach the library, we're at 218-346-4892, or our website is www.perham.lib.mn.us. That'll take you to the city webpage. Look for departments and library.
Very good. Thanks, Susan, so much for being with us on the Perham Show. And stick with us. We're going to come back and visit with Lakeland Hospice about their new hospice house. Welcome back to the Perham Show. We're going to talk about Lakeland Hospice and Home Care with Mary Whittinger, who is the Public Relations Coordinator. Thanks, Mary, so much for coming up from Fergus Falls and joining us here at the Perham Library.
Thank you for having me.
You have some exciting news over there at Lakeland. Why don't you talk about this new house? You call it the Hospice House?
The Lakeland Hospice House, yes.
Okay.
We're very excited. We had our ribbon cutting on November the 3rd, and it is beautiful. It's a lovely home with capacity for 8 patients to live there for end-of-life care. And we're just really thrilled to be able to open it during Hospice and Home Care Month in November.
Well, I looked at the website, and it is absolutely beautiful, and I know it's been a long process. You folks have been working on this diligently for a long time, and now that it is open, you have a small window of opportunity for people to come in and actually look at the home, because once you have patients, you know,
Right.
you're kind of limited. So you have an open house November 12th, and then is there going to be any time after that?
Well, our community open house, right, is the November the 12th from 3 to 6 p.m. And after that, people can call and get a private tour.
Okay.
They'll be welcome to until we open, and we'll be opening later on in November, depending upon state regulations. You know how that goes.
Yes.
But hopefully it'll be mid to late November. We'll be able to accept patients. So, but we would like to get as many people through prior to that because of privacy and confidentiality with our patients.
Sure. Now, end-of-life care, terminal illnesses, those are tough issues for people. And the reason that we have you here in Perham is because Lakeland serves the Perham area. Why don't you talk a little bit about that,
Sure.
that service area and the kind of people that might be coming to the Lakeland Hospice Home as opposed to their own home?
Right. And hospice still will continue going into people's homes. Lakeland Hospice and Home Care is in 15 counties, 13 in west central Minnesota, and 1 in North Dakota, 1 in South Dakota. And we will still continue going to people's homes, but for those people who don't have a primary caregiver, we are a support agency. We come in to help support primary caregivers already in place, giving support with social workers, nurses, even a medical director that manages over the cases, and a whole network of volunteers and all wonderful people.
Chaplain services.
All kinds.
Forms.
They'll still be available to the community, but they'll be available 24/7 in this wonderful home that will be able to be primary caregiver. Doesn't necessarily have to. Family can still come and give cares, but there'll be other people, nurses on staff. There'll be no less than 2 nursing staff on right on the premises 24 hours a day to be able to help give that care as well.
Well, so if somebody's home is not really set up or conducive, whether it's steps or something like that, that might be a good option then for people, even if they do have a loved one who's helping to care for them.
Sure, right, and it can be the home that doesn't work necessarily well for the hospice situation. It can also be that maybe they're the last survivor. They don't have a primary caregiver. Families are smaller these days. Children live farther away. Not as many kids live close by to be able to care for mom and dad. Sometimes the family is just exhausted. Long-time illnesses, or maybe even the situation is complex and it's overwhelming to the caregiver. We're also available for respite care.
Okay. Now, I understand, it seems like I heard a while back that you were working in partnership or in cooperation with other hospice providers for the hospice home. Is that?
Yes, other hospices are able to bring patients to our facility. They can come in with their own care team and give cares to hospice patients at our house.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, the open house on November 12th, but Mary, for more information, do you have a number that...
I do, as well as for people who are interested in volunteering. We have volunteering coming up on November the 19th. Our number is 218-998-1400 or toll free 888-820-7885.
Okay, so you might be looking for volunteers in this area too, not just in Fergus Falls. So, Mary, thank you so much for being with us on the Perham Show to visit about the new Lakeland Hospice House, Lakeland Hospice and Home Care, and thank you for tuning in as well.